I want to begin by reading you a newspaper article. Okay, the headline is "Local Islamic Center Destroyed, Over 100 Dead, Veteran Blamed." On Friday afternoon, a local Islamic center was leveled. All those inside confirmed dead. A veteran suffering from PTSD is in custody. He is being held without bond on several federal charges, one of which is mass murder. Now that's about somebody I used to know. I no longer know that person, because that person's me. I stand before you tonight a Muslim. I had such a hatred inside of me. I used to term it as a separate organ. We all know that we don't want to just lose an organ. We would die. But my hatred is what kept me going during that time. Don't really know what started it. Whether it was the military or whether it was being overseas and fighting against people of that faith, or so-called. But I felt such a desire to eradicate what I refer to as a cancer. I refer to Islam as a cancer. Because I saw it doing nothing but harm to everything that I was about, that everything of my society was about. But we all get like that a little bit, because we forget to turn off the TV. And we watch things like Fox News, CNN, and we base our opinions on the media and people within the media, pop stars, athletes, movie stars, because what they say matters. We don't have it in us to search for something else, to search for something that is a deeper meaning than what we just get off the surface. You know, when you dig for gold, you don't just skim the dirt off the top. You won't find anything. You have to get underneath. And you have to go deep to find the meaning of what Islam was really about. Let's get back to my hatred a little bit. I grew up inner city, Cincinnati. I was in grade school. I was in grade school back in the 70s. I was actually part of desegregation, one of the final stages. And I remember being the only white kid on my school bus. I lived in an all-white neighborhood. It's the kind of school I went to. And being from that neighborhood, of course, being a boy, wanting to be outside and playing, I remember playing with some of the kids in the neighborhood. My grandfather, now I forgive him, but he was racist. Why he moved to that neighborhood, I don't know if that's the way he felt, but I remember getting in trouble and playing with the black kids in the neighborhood. There was someone else to play with. But I remember something he said, or it came back to me. And I want you to remember this because it'll come back later on in my story. I don't want my family around those people. Ever hear that before? Those people. Right? So that's going to come back. Anyway, I went on. Joined the Marine Corps. Didn't have a lot of options open to me. Was expelled from high school. Never did graduate high school. Got a GED, wasn't I was selling $2 joints out of my wall locker. Got caught. save my life. I would probably be dead or in prison right now if it wasn't for it. Possible. But as I went on, I needed something to hate. I needed an enemy. I needed something to look towards that was less than me. Eventually I found it. Muslims. I remember one time going to a shoe store, DSW, and going into the store with my wife. There was two Muslim women there, full black burqa. I found a chair and I sat down and cried. My sadness came because I prayed for enough intestinal fortitude to do harm to those ladies. Because I didn't want them around me. They didn't need to be there. They didn't need to hear it. So I culminated this plan. For legal reasons, I can't discuss the materials that I had. I culminated this plan, and when I put it together, though, I told nobody about it. It was all me. I was going to do one last thing for my country because I knew I'd get caught. I'm not a mastermind criminal. And with today's forensics, you don't get away with stuff like that. And I knew I would end up probably in Terre Haute Federal Prison with a needle in my arm. Thank you. At that point, I shouldn't have been alive anyway. I'd already faced that part of my life many times overseas and made it out. Because I believe I still have one more thing to do for my country. Didn't know what it was. But I found out. The local Islamic center there in Muncie, of course, meets every Friday for Juma prayer. And I had devised a plan to put together an IED and stick it in the back of the building. Dial the number in. During the prayer time, just watch it go up. I was close. But something had happened to me. My daughter came home. She was 7. And she was telling us about this little boy she sat across from at her elementary school. And his mom came to get him. Pulled him out of class. When she came in, she was dressed. Hijab, long robe. And when she told me that, I just started blurting out, I don't want my family around those people. And at that point, a light bulb came on. I was spewing the same ignorance that my grandfather had spewed to me years ago. Those people. So even though I'd had many interactions with Muslims, at that point none of them really being any good, I decided I'll give them one more chance. So I went to a Friday prayer. Didn't tell anybody else going. I walked in and I had walked in the front door. As soon as I did, I looked at these clocks and I said, what's up? I'm thinking of time to go all the clocks. I look over to my left and there's a shoe room. And there's a gentleman there he looks up at me, and I look at him, and he knew I didn't necessarily belong there, or I was lost. Can I help you? I want you to teach me about Islam. He said, well, do you have a minute? I said, I got 2 hours. He said, okay, we'll give it a shot. So he takes me in, sits me down in the back of the prayer room where we had some chairs. And hands me some literature, which of course I was just back there going, man, ain't this a bunch of propaganda? Look at this. The sermon started. This Islam thing sounds pretty good, man. It's kind of weird. He knows how to talk. This is a good message. And afterwards, we went into the library. I got hooked up with a guy closer to my age. And he sat down and he handed me a Quran. And I, of course, did not tell them my plan. I said I was just in there wanting to learn a little bit about Islam. Handed me the Quran. He says, here. He said, we can sit here and talk for hours. Take this, read it. When you have questions, come back. I said, all right. Before I can move, this older gentleman comes up, sits down at my feet, and hugs my leg, and starts crying. Now, I'd already been introduced to this gentleman, and found out that he was a doctor. And the thing about American society, especially when you're all part of the hierarchy of the society, you see people, doctors, professors, there's a hierarchy. There's a like a chain of command almost. Okay, these people are better than these people. So I did. I read it. I came back and asked questions. Within 8 weeks, I had went from having almost everything I needed to build this place up to taking showers. And people are like, well, wow, man. How does that happen? Well, I can stand in front of you today and tell you I don't have a clue. It just did. God, Allah, made it happen. I tell people I had to be here before I could be here. Because of the way I was raised, and especially in my adult life, or from my lessons from the military, being all machismo and being tough and everything like that, I had to come from a place of such power to a place of surrender. And once I surrendered, I found out that's the power. The hatred's a waste of time. Nothing good comes out of hatred. Nothing good has ever come out of hatred. I mean, anybody here that's a history major can tell you that. Nothing ever good has come out of hatred. Ever. So I took on this cause and this lifelong pursuit of redemption. And once I took Shahada, Allah released all those sins. I believe that. But there's a personal level of redemption I had to go through. I hurt a lot of people. Some of those people I hurt will never see their families again. I own that. But it drives me. It drives me to